Whoa. Apple once again has managed to release the same exact phone, different name and different year, and we're still gonna buy it. Yo guys, Victor here with another Everything Technology video. It's now been a week since the iPhone 11 was released, and I've had the chance to play around with it for a couple of days now, and here is how I feel about it. As you guys know, I'm coming from an iPhone 11R. That is my daily driver. If you haven't seen a video on that, go check that out. A card should pop up on one of these sides, or the link will be down in the description. So this is coming from the perspective of an iPhone 11R user, as well as an overall iPhone user, since I've had previous iPhone devices. And anyway, this is just how I feel about this device. Let's get right into this video. Okay, so coming from the iPhone XR, there are a few design changes with the iPhone 11. Let's start off with the back, which is the most controversial design change here, and probably the only design change now that I think about it. So, as you can tell, there's now this square camera cutout, which you're either gonna really like or you're gonna hate. When I first looked at it, I was like, what the hell is this? But after using it for the past couple of days now, I don't mind it. It's actually not as bad as I thought. Another noticeable difference here is that the Apple logo is now centered as compared to where it was kind of at the very top of the phone with the iPhone XR. And you also have the iPhone branding at the very bottom of the device. That is gone with the iPhone 11 now. You just get the Apple logo right in the middle. Anyway, at the end of the day, I still prefer the design language of the iPhone XR over the iPhone 11. If I were Apple with this camera bump or the square camera thing, whatever you want to call it, I would have just moved the flash and the microphone down on the XR and added that second camera right below that main camera. It makes more sense in my head. I'm sure it makes more sense to you guys as well. I don't know why they opted for this design language. Maybe they just wanted people to distinguish the difference between the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11 from a distance. Or maybe there is some engineering to this square design. Makes the cameras better. I'm not very sure. The back of this phone is literally the only difference when it comes to design. If you flip this device around and you put it side by side with an iPhone XR, you're not gonna be able to notice any difference. In fact, they're still using that same exact panel. Something that is different though is battery life. It's not that huge of a difference, but Apple's claiming you're gonna get an extra hour of usage with this phone. After using it for the past couple of days, I still get a full day of usage, just like I did with my iPhone XR. But now, instead of ending the day off with like 30, 40%, I'm ending the day off with like 40, 50%. So it is a little bit better here on this department, but again, it's not that big of a difference. With the new iPhone 11, there are more storage options available, not really a lot more. There's really just one more storage option available as compared to last year where we got 64 gigs, 128 gigs. Now you get 256 gigs with the iPhone 11. If you do need a little bit more storage, you have to go for one of the Pro devices. Now, as far as my experience day to day using this phone, it is pretty damn fast. In fact, it feels a little bit faster than my iPhone XR. I'm not sure if that's because it's rocking the A13 Bionic chip, which Apple is claiming is the fastest chipset on any phone, or it's because it's rocking iOS 13, which I still haven't updated my iPhone 11R to compare side by side. But anyway, overall, this is still a pretty damn fast phone, just as fast as the XR, even slightly faster than the XR or some of the previous generation devices. So I did get the opportunity to play around with both of these cameras on this phone. As far as the main camera goes, it's practically the same exact camera as we got last year with the XR. I put them side by side. I took pictures side by side. It's literally the same exact thing. But the wide angle camera is different. Obviously, it's wider. It's pretty cool to play with. What I did realize is that as far as image processing goes, you're gonna get the same exact colors when it comes to the image, but as far as sharpness goes, it's not as sharp as compared to the main camera, which does make sense. That's typically how it is when manufacturers have two cameras on their phone. One is usually better than the other. There's usually that main one, and there's usually the extra either telephoto or wide angle camera lens. I do appreciate that Apple has managed to make pictures on these cameras look identical in terms of colors, so they're very similar in that department. But when it comes to sharpness, one is sharper than the other. And the front-facing camera now has that wide angle feature as well. I think it's using a different camera or a different setup than last year's model. It's now a little bit wider, but there is no two camera setup, so it's not switching between different cameras. All it's doing is that it's zooming into the image and giving you the effect that you are getting this wide angle camera. I put them side by side with the iPhone XR, and I honestly prefer the iPhone XR camera over the iPhone 11 front-facing camera. It just looks better in my opinion. Images appear a little bit on the warmer side with the iPhone 11 as compared to the iPhone XR, where it's a little bit on the cooler side. I prefer that look a little bit better in my opinion. Obviously, the iPhone 11 is an overall better camera, if you want to say, because it does have a little bit more features. You do also get that slow motion or slow fee, I think that's what it's called. I haven't tried that yet, and I don't plan on using the front-facing camera for slow motion. I don't use slow motion to begin with, but it is cool that you get those new features with the front-facing camera. In conclusion, after using this phone for a week now, I still really like it, but is it worth upgrading from an iPhone XR? No, you shouldn't upgrade. It's practically the same device. You just get new camera and a different chipset, slightly better battery life. That's really it. It's not worth the upgrade. But if you're coming from something like an iPhone 8, iPhone 7, iPhone 6, let's say iPhone 8 and below, then you should consider making that upgrade. But other than that, it's practically the same device we got last year. It's really the iPhone 11R, if you want to call it. I feel like all Apple did was release the iPhone XR alongside the iPhone X and XS last year, and they saw that it got a lot of sales and a lot of people liked it, and this is practically the same device as the iPhone XR with slightly more features, and now they're calling it the iPhone 11 instead of the R on it or any R's on it to begin with. I'm not even sure what the R stood for in the first place. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you'd like to see more content on it, let me know down in the comment section what you guys want to see specifically. By no means was this a full in-depth review or anything like that. This is just how I felt about this phone after using it for about a week now. This has been Victor with another Everything Technology video. If you want to check out what I do outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, like my Facebook page at Victor's Fits. If you want to see some behind the scenes content, stay tuned to my Instagram. I usually post stuff on there, as well as my Snapchat. You can scan my Snap code somewhere right over here. If you didn't get the opportunity to see some of my previous coverage that I've done on the iPhone XR, you should go check that out. I have links down in the description. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video on the channel. Bye.